It's good. I tried to do this like 20 minutes ago and I didn't my settings set to unlisted, so literally nobody joined the video. And yeah, so maybe one or two people will join this time. Drums, I'm editing drums for a song that I recorded actually today. My friend Chris Stevenson played drums on it. If you tuned into the live stream that I did, like I was working on a song, just kind of loosely trying to figure out a structure. So yeah, from there, I got my friend Chris to track drums because we were recording drums for another project. And we realized the mics are set up. Why not do some fun? This is loosely what it sounds. So it's a really cool groove. It needs some tightening up. This is like a robotic song, so we're gridlocking this whole thing because there is like some syncopation between the electronic drums that are there as well as the acoustic drums. So right now what I'm doing is trying to get the acoustic drums completely locked in, gridded. Then we'll go from there. If there's time, I'll start throwing samples and stuff because I want this to be like a larger-than-life sound, but I just have the goal of editing the drums. There's parts that repeat that are copy-pasted, so it honestly shouldn't take too much time. My computer is working pretty hard because I'm streaming and doing this, so hopefully nothing explodes and life is good. So if you have any questions or anything like that, or if you just want to talk or chat or whatever, I'm here. I'm easily distracted. I also just realized that my little photos over this chat part. Is there any way I can switch this up? Or maybe I can... Oh, I don't know if that's showing anything private, but hey, live, love, laugh. I don't think there's any secrets. No secrets. How's this? This might be better. Boom. We saved it. And yeah, so what's up? If anybody's there, say hello. Nobody's there, so game on. I'm using a combination of manually editing, elastic audio, just like stretching the groove real aggressively, and then I'm going to be using Beat Detective to apply fades because it's just real fast at doing that. And yeah, that's that. Howdy, what's up, Jason? How you doing? Let me throw some fades across this. Sure. It's not bad. There's definitely some artifacts in there. Start pulling around these fades. What do you got going on tonight, Jason? What are you up to? What do you know? Very hairy Larry. Nice. I'm doing fine. Yeah, no complaints. Tracked drums today for a couple songs with my friend, and in return play these drums. And yeah, seriously, Chris is a phenomenal drummer, so it's always a pleasure being able to... He normally does like metal stuff. I don't know, hard rock metal, I don't really know what would be the appropriate term, but he is very flashy, and it's nice to have him on this project. I don't really have any end goal for it, or I shouldn't say end goal. I don't really have any goal for it, but I've sent this track off to a friend of mine who's an amazing singer, and I've also asked to write lyrics, which is kind of a substantial undertaking. It's definitely different writing a drum part than writing lyrics, and even writing a melody is easy. Lyrics is a more, I guess, personal thing, but I'm confident that whatever he writes will be cool. I've worked with him before on many occasions. He's a talented fellow. So, yeah, I just want to like throw something together and make something. I've been meaning to do this for a while, so let's see what we come up with. Oh, these artifacts are terrible. Is anybody watching? For anybody that's watching, are you working on anything musically right now? Can commit this and see if my computer accepts it. Sometimes it creates some artifacts. Right now it's looking. Oh, it's working. Slowly. That there's some terrible artifacts in there, but I'm gonna just kind of manually fix those. I'm also going to make this for now. Yeah, it's currently running a drum part. Nice. What for? What style of music, and how are you writing it? These guys are going to go play over here. And we're also going to take this. We're also going to take that, put that there. And we're going to just keep stealing this. Cool. Let's just real quickly fade this up. Boop, 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 boop. It's called fast edits. Just get it done good. Cool. Honestly, that works for me. Okay, let's commit this again. Again, hopefully my computer does not explode. Did not explode. Just for my own stuff, more on the alternative emo-ish side, I'm using a MIDI on an app called BandLab. Nice. Do you play in a band? I am familiar with alternative emo-ish music, as you probably... Okay, we are going to take these 4 bars, and we're going to throw them. Boom, boom, boom. And then this last one, we're just going to do this. Go a little fade. Actually, let's just do this 15. Boom, boom. These are not Joey, Matt. Matt, this is actually my friend Chris Stevenson that you might probably... I feel like everyone in Ottawa knows who Chris Stevenson is. Yeah. So there's a lot of hi-hat stuff in it. I got Chris to track it because we were tracking drums for another project today, and everything was set up. And Chris is a phenomenal drummer. This is him just like messing around here. Let me play something silly. That's just a snare. I don't know what would be something that is showing. Let me play the. Yeah, Chris is a monster. Chris is like, it's unfair. It's scary stuff. Right, we got a nice healthy loop. Minimal artifacts, you know, definitely not my cleanest edit, but this is my own music, so who cares? Yes, Mr. Matt Bedard in the chat knows how good Chris is. He actually played drums on Matt's new EP album. I don't know what you would call it. It's one of those things that's in the middle. When's that coming out, Matt? Yeah, I did throw this on Instagram. I made this. There's a company that I recently did a demo for. I don't care, actually. I'll just say it. Unison. I did a demo for them. I did like their MIDI chord pack thing, and then I tagged them on Instagram, and then they're like, yo, that's cool. So then I was like, yo, if you have anything coming up that you want me to do a video on, let me know. And then they sent me something special that is not released. And from there, that ended up inspiring this. So this all might be part of some video that comes out in a couple weeks. First song comes out June 20th. I don't think I ever told Paul that, but Paul sent me the first mixes or whatever, and it was like all one file, like the entire EP. And Chris and I listened to the whole thing front to back, and yeah, like it's awesome. I think you guys should be really proud of what you guys made. It is, it's obviously, as you're probably well aware, it's your best work, but it's also it's cool. It's awesome to see that you guys are like still doing it and getting better and making something worth making. Everybody follow Iliad on the internet. Matt, I would post a link to your everything. There's two Matts in here. I'm gonna call you Bedard. Bedard is Matt number 2. Matt Sears is Matt number 1. All right, we got our first loop. Live, love, laugh. Life is great. Let's get our second loop going here. I never answered Jason. Sorry, Jason. It's a bedroom band in the sense that we're split apart 3 states. I am familiar with that. My band, none of us live in the same city. I mean, technically Brad and Travis kind of do. But yeah, we are a little spread out. And have been like forever. I've never lived in the same city as them, so it's something we've lived to. So it's totally doable. If you ever feel discouraged, you definitely can make a long distance band work. Yo, actually, you two Matt should link up and make music together. Matt Bedard, he's a vocalist. Great lyricist, but also has like the most outrageous, I'm gonna call them metal vocals. They're my category of it. But I would argue that he has a wide range, that he's probably capable of most things in the growling, screaming department. There are some absolutely messed up, inhuman noises on their EP. Okay, this part, oh, these edits are coming across a little cleaner. I'll throw fades at the end. For anybody that's watching, if you want to talk about anything, if you have any questions about all of these really rough clicks that I'm doing here, feel free to ask. I am trying to gridlock these drums because this is my own song. Art is dead, and I'm allowed to do whatever I want. But it's also a robotic kind of song that electronic percussion as well, so I want to marry the two, so they need to be like totally locked in so they can syncopate, and then the effect of having 2 syncopated rhythms is what's going to make all this real cool. I hit a MIDI controller and do know anything because I don't know how. That works. If it works, it works. Let's get this guy pulled in. Boom. Okay, let's... What are we doing here? This I don't care as much if it's like perfectly quantized, because this is a... So let's start by getting these in their respective places, and then pull that back. We'll get this going. We care. We care. Boom, boom. Click, click, click. Beat Detect doing your job. That's a little messy. Let's screw it. No, that's fine. It's just the tom mic is bugging, which will be all chopped out, so I don't care. One of my roommates just bought an electronic drum kit, which is great because there's now an electronic drum kit in this house again, which I absolutely, every album I work on where I am able to, well, I'd say, yeah, most projects that I work on, band comes to town and for 2 weeks we're working on a project. I map out all of the drums in MIDI in advance to make sure that every single drum fill sussed out, that every single double crash at every chorus, that every drum fill makes sense. I do not like leaving stuff up to chance, so I like to like solidify the drum part with every member of the band. It allows the bass player to like lock in with, you know, the kick and snare patterns and stuff. MIDI is a really powerful tool. Noise. All right, let's get these triplets locked in. Oh, guys, we have 7 people in here apparently. That is that might be record breaking. Everyone's here watching me absolutely bolt these drums and take any ounce of human out of it, because we're making dance music and people like to dance in town. Cool, cool. Okay, let's throw fades, healthy fades. Oh, excuse me, what is that? That is not a real. That should not have happened. That goes to there. This goes to here. Yeah, okay, that's a double. Boom, boom. We should not be on that anymore. Crisis averted. No, Pebble has been closed. Basically, I was in Brazil until March 15th, and like a couple days, I got home, I think on the 15th or 16th, and one of the staff members there, and they're like, we're going to be closing Pebble and like locking the door. Like there's no way I can get in, like locking the facility. So I went in advance and grabbed all the mic stands, all the microphones and all the cables, and a preamp and stuff. So I've been like remotely tracking my friends and stuff. Well, mainly my roommates, because we live in the same house. So social distancing, there is no social, they're in the bubble. If any of them have it, I have it, but so far we're all healthy. Everything's good. Knock on wood. But to answer your question, no, not yet. Yeah, I hope that it opens up at some point, because it is totally, like, I've had projects booked in that I just have to keep moving back and back and back, and the whole world's kind of on pause, so it's not just a unique problem to me, but it is, yeah, I mean, hopefully everything goes back to normal and everybody's healthy and there's some sort of solution to this problem. Hello, destroyer of cookies. How are you doing tonight? What's up? Ah. You know what? That is what we call good enough for me. Let's consolidate this, and hopefully, again, my computer does not reject this. Sometimes when I consolidate stuff, when I use Elastic Audio, it like throws these terrible audio artifacts into the audio, which is no good. We don't like that. Mr. or Mrs. Destroyer of Cookies, are you working on any music? What have you been doing during this quarantined period? You love to see it. You love. Okay. The beauty of making robotic music is that dude, I'm good at finding artifacts. Call me Ross. Get it? Only 90s kids. I've been working on some guitar techniques that I suck at. That is good. That is something that most guitar players should probably do. Most guitar players definitely do not do it, myself included. My guitar playing has plateaued since I was like probably like 14 or 15. I have not gotten any better. Ooh, palm muting. You got to get good at that. If I was recording you and you were recording a palm muted part and you couldn't play it, very frustrating. Very frustrating. It's amazing. There's a lot of lead guitar players that I've recorded that like are phenomenal guitar players. Like if you just saw them play lead, you'd be like, these guys are amazing guitar players. But then you see them attempt to play like just a simple palm muted riff and they struggle. It's amazing how some people get really good with their left hand and can play super fast, and then some people are just monster players with their right hand. Brad's in the tub. Hello, Bradley. How often, Brad, how often are you taking baths? 'Cause I feel like I see a photo of you reading a book or watching something in a bathtub nearly on the daily. Lovely. We took the life out of this. You love to see it. You love to see it. Dude stays clean. Do baths... I don't think baths make you clean. Like, maybe if you, like, go in and then you get out of them, but, like, if you just sit in there, are you not just, like, soaking in, like, your dead skin? I don't know. I don't know. Like, 3 times a week minimum. That's good. That's good, dude. If I had, like, a bathtub worth taking a bath in, I still don't know if I have the patience to take a bath. These are tracked in a basement, like in Nepean. This is not treated at all. Focus right. 18i 20, whatever the 8 preamp one is, USB. No, nothing crazy. Just sweating. Are you reading in the bath? Are you just what is the normal bathtub like? Or what's a normal bathtub session like? Do you use bath bombs either? Do you use or is it just hot water and your thoughts? Also, I mentioned at the start of the stream, but I started streaming like 20 minutes before this went live, but I accidentally edited, and I edited a whole part of the drums, which like took me like 20 minutes or so, and there was nobody in the chat, and then I was like, it's like, what's going on here? I'm concerned. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Kenton. I'm sweating, bro. Throw on some CBR YouTube, dim the lights. Dude, that's what I'm talking about. Thank you for preaching the good word. Honestly, my last video, my my secrets to auxiliary percussion, that is like, I feel like that's one of my videos that has the most value, but you can't make like auxiliary percussion like clickbaitable, or at least I can't find a way to. So it's like, you know, obviously not performing very well, which is understandable. But dude, yeah, we're giving away some gold on this channel here. Auxiliary percussion gold. Painstaking anxiety, that's good. It's good. It's healthy amount of that. Have I ever used Cubase? I have not. No, I've like, I mean, I've maybe used it like 2-3 times, but not, I would not be able to find my way around it very easily. I know how to use Pro Tools, and I'm like good enough with Logic. I did some tracking sessions in Logic. Dude, download those samples. Get them before they're, well, they'll be there forever actually, but get them. I'm not lying when I say I like that's my go-to. I use those on like session. This one studio trick will change everything. Yeah, that's so funny. Sam uses the same tambourine in everything. The same tambourine. Just go through his discography and you can just hear like that is the Sam tambourine. The Sambourine. But hey, I'm no better. Although Joey tracked all of them, and Joey, no word of a lie, is like the best auxiliary percussion player ever. It's an art form. That guy knows what he's doing. That guy knows how to use a shaker. We don't like this. We don't like that. Let's throw these guys over here. Rough and dirty, just getting the drums edited. For anybody that's just tuning in, these are drums for a song that I started working on 2 days ago live on stream. It is kind of just for fun. I got my friend Chris Stevenson, who does have a YouTube channel. He's like, I don't know, he's got a bunch of different accolades. If you're from Canada, he's a nation, 2 Juno noms. Anyways, he's really good. He played drums on these today. And this song has a mix of electronic percussion and acoustic percussion. So that's why I'm like aggressively just like gridlocking these. Dude, shake, 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 shake. And I'm also gonna absolutely litter these with drum samples and make it sound like radio rock. Because I can. I can do whatever I want. This is really fun, guys. Sketch. Let's just take... Take these guys. Put them over here. Sounds good, dude. Enjoy that bath. You've earned it. Just like that. Doing down to go down. For anyone that's tuning in, just tuning in. If you have any questions about anything, if you want to chat about anything, we're here editing drums, which is a pretty daunting task. It's pretty mindless, so feel free to ask away. I'm an open book. Boom. Do you usually hard quantize your drums in usual rock productions, or do you just rely on good drummers? I think my philosophy... So, short answer, it depends on the type of production and the drummer. I think whenever you can, if you can keep as much of the organic performance as possible, to do it, depending on those factors. But I would also say a lot of people, when they're starting out, or they don't like... I don't know, they just don't have a ton of experience, might say something like, oh, you got to leave the drums, like, don't quantize the drum, over quantize the drums. You got to keep them raw, got to keep the drummer's performance. But oftentimes, if a drummer isn't like top tier, like, they aren't grooving consistently. They're pushing and they're pulling and they're pulling and they're pushing, and it's like kind of all over the place. And so if there's a good performance, I like much of that performance. If there's no performance, I do whatever it takes to get the production to hit hard. Eric Valentine, guy who's worked on, like, I don't know, Smash Mouth and Queens of the Stone Age. He has this video on how you can make a relative grid in Pro Tools. That's like, let's say 90% time, and then you can create a relative grid out of it. So what it does is it actually makes a grid in accordance with the drum performance. So if you tight enough, but obviously it's not 100% gridded, you can build a grid around that drum performance. I think that's the perfect balance. I've done that for a couple productions, and that's the sweet spot, because it just makes editing the bass and the guitars easier on top. It makes it, I don't know, that's like, to me, that's the sweet spot. So short answer, long. Sometimes. Yes, no. Hopefully that that helped in some way. Again, I don't know how long you've been in this, but for this track, 100% hard quantizing, because there are electronic percussion behind these, and they aren't playing the same beat, so they're going to be like playing off each other. So as well as it's a really fast performance. In this part here, it's not a super big deal, but this next part, like this next groove, you can already hear within like 2 bars of it that there's a lot of push and pull. Not good, not what we want. So I will refuse to record most bands if they have a bad drummer, though. That is, like, bottom line, need to have a good drummer. Especially when you're doing rock music. Like, there's no way. And I'm actually working on a video right now because I have replaced a drummer in the past. And I go in detail in the video. But some feelings were hurt, and understandably so. But it put the band in a position where they ended up getting signed, and now they have a sizable audience, and everything's good now. I'm gonna make a video on that. I have it all written out. I just have to film it. So that's kind of an interesting story in itself. Boom. Nice. Okay, let's quantize this, and anything that sounds a little wacky, I'll just copy paste because we've got the power of the Pro Tools. Matt Sears, absolutely. That is exactly it. I'm not putting any names or anything like that. I've talked to all the members now. Obviously, it's not a big deal, but at the time, it was a bit of a complicated issue that I think I could have gone about a little better. I think I was like pretty upfront and honest, but I'll go into it in the video, honestly, because there's no point in creating any sort of like drama or making anyone look bad. That's not what it's about. Although I haven't told the band that I'm going to be making this video, but I'm going to keep it anonymous, so it shouldn't be a problem. We'll find out. Yeah, they're famous. It doesn't matter. Okay, right here. Hear that? That is really annoying. This is what my computer sometimes does when I commit when I commit elastic audio, and it's a pain. So let me do this real quick. Excuse me. This is my real fast, quick workaround. Copy this. Oh, my computer is hurting. Streaming on the internet and using Pro Tools. Okay, let's bypass all these plugins, and we'll hit commit, and we will not do those, which won't commit the audio, which is all good. Yeah, I am not concerned about it. And the next vid sounds great. Can't wait for that, honestly. Yeah, I've every video I make, I have to like I would love to put out more videos. It's something I really, really enjoy doing, but for the most part, the videos I put out are like one-off videos, and they take time to think of and put together properly. And, you know, I'm trying to do that around a bunch of other things that I'm doing. So that's why I sometimes will go a month without posting, which is like not what I want to do. I really hope the computer doesn't freeze here. So yeah, I've thought of like trying to create some sort of video series style. Yeah, I want to create like video series, so I have like something to come back to and be able to create consistently, and also kind of build a relationship with people watching when they know what to expect instead of just like random videos. And so I want to create a series called like Studio Horror Stories, because I've been recording bands professionally since I was 19 years old. Like full time. That's my job. So when you're 19, no offense to anyone that's 19 out there, but you're 19 years old. You only have 19 years of life experience. And you think you know a lot of stuff. Sometimes you don't really know. But there's also, you're not like you haven't had enough life experience to find out who you are and how to deal with people properly and professionally, and, you know, how to set boundaries and all these things. So throughout the years, I've done things that, not anything like bad, but like, you know, as my production's growing, as well as like dealing with people and, you know, replacing drummers and stuff, I've made decisions that have some pretty interesting stories. So I would love to share those and laugh at myself, and hopefully give value to anyone out there that's starting out, so they can avoid any mistakes that I have made. Whoa. Okay, this is going to be insane. Absolutely insane. But this is... after we do this part, this is like most of the song, because a lot of the rest of the stuff is copy-pasted. Yeah, awesome. I'm glad you like the mix breakdown videos, because those take... They don't take a lot of time to film, but they take a lot of time to edit, because they're like 30 minutes long. There's one I've been meaning to do. I recorded this band, I produced this band called In Good Nature. They're from, I think they're from Boston. I know they're from Massachusetts. And the plan was for them to come up here and to record a single with me, but COVID started. Like, I was in Brazil. I was coming back on the 15th of March, and they were to come up on the 18th, I believe. So I was coming back from Brazil, like specifically to record this track, and yeah, it ends up that borders get closed and all that stuff, which is totally understandable. So I ended up like producing the track remotely, but they got it engineered near them, and so it's kind of an interesting experience because I got to I was like, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this, which was great because it made it so I got all the pieces I needed, and then I mixed the track. So I am using SRH 1840s by Shure. These things are super expensive. They are super comfortable. I bought them because with my band touring, which obviously isn't a thing right now, and with me like going back and forth to Brazil and stuff, I want to be able to continue working, whether it's for fun or professionally. And one thing I was lacking was just like a really quality pair of headphones that I felt confident in. So I figured go buy something that's like near the top of the line and then learn them, get used to them. And yeah, I recommend them. They're expensive, but the music sounds good, and they're very flat. It's not hyped at all. So if you're looking for headphones to buy just to listen to music, do not buy these headphones. But they're accurate. You can really hear the sub, and I don't have them fully learned yet. I feel like I could confidently mix in them if I was able to reference other music. I don't know them as well as I know my speaker setup, but they're good. Yeah. Yeah, I've used the HG 280s, but those are like lower end. Quite honestly, I bought these headphones because, I was just like looking for headphones, and I thought they were different headphones than what they actually are, because one of my friends that records a lot of hip hop had, I believe they're the super high end Sennheiser ones, so they might be like the 650s. Oh, nice. Yeah. Brazil is awesome. That's got to be tough, man. Making music in Brazil, like, not the making music part, but just the cost of gear. I went to a bunch of music stores while I was there, like just for fun, and it's just with the economy, the exchange, import, and everything like that. It made me realize how fortunate I am to live in a country where, having a guitar that says Fender on it isn't. Isn't a super big deal. When I went the first time, I actually brought my girlfriend's. I actually brought a Mexican Fender Stratocaster for my girlfriend's brother that he actually paid for, but it was cheaper to buy it in Canada and for me to bring it than it was for him to try and buy it in Brazil, which is insane. Yeah, so credit to you, man. I know that it is not. And it's substantially harder. Seriously, like the cost of just getting started is completely different. What type of music do you work on there? Any funky? I know that's all the craze. Boom bop bop boom bop boom bop bop boom bop. Let me see if I've been doing this so mindlessly. I hope I've made the right decisions. I just want to listen to this. There's going to be clicks and pops because I haven't faded anything, but I just want to make sure I got the rhythm properly. We good. Let's keep on clicking. Fair enough. That probably makes sense why you're subscribed to this channel then. It's funny. I went to my girlfriend's graduation, and the first time I went there, I've been there twice, and the second time I went there, I went to my girlfriend's friend's graduation. I am not somebody that parties. That is like that is not. I do. That is not my scene. Oh, I also went there for Carnival. The second time I was there for Carnival, and yeah, so I got to experience a little bit of what it's like to be in Brazil, and parties and the type of music and the culture and stuff, which was cool. But it's definitely not. It's not my thing. Funky as they call it here, which is not funky at all. Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I had a good time at her party. I had met all of her friends like previous to it, so I had friends there, and thankfully most of them spoke English, so that was nice. There was an open bar, which really helped with calming the nerves. I'm not a big drinker, but I was basically told that I have to dance. I had to do the waltz with my girlfriend because that is like that's what you do when at the graduation party. So that was like hilarious. So yeah, the first thing I did when I got into the party was go to the open bar to just like I need to loosen up and get the confidence because that is like so not my comfort zone at all. And anybody that like really knows me is probably laughing hearing that. And then I danced the entire night. I got drunk and I danced the entire night, which I don't think I've ever danced before in my life, which is hilarious. But it was honestly really fun. Carnival can be fun and the party part is cool, but the music is challenging to say the least. Fair enough. Yeah. I think it is a beautiful thing though that you guys like. I don't know. I just like coming from Canada and seeing like I've traveled a little bit like with playing in a band and stuff. And one thing that was disappointing was there are different cultures, but it's only like a couple degrees different. It's not like completely different. So going to South America was an amazing experience. We got some artifacts in there, but the groove is right. Let me just kind of roughly drag this all back. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely no joke in Brazil, that is for sure. Especially with your president. Uh-oh, I said it. Cool, man. Good luck with the mix. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, I get daily updates on it. It's actually I get people I know that have never ever been or know anything about Brazil reaching out to me asking to make sure that my girlfriend and her family are okay. So the news is making it all the way here to Canada. Take care, man. Boa noite. Oh, there we go. There's some Portuguese. Anybody else that's tuned in? What's going on? How's everyone doing? Anybody working on anything cool, special? Anybody learn any new tricks? What is going on? Drum editing is not very fun, not very interesting, especially when you're doing it this way where it's just like so mechanical. It's not artistic at all. It's more just like clicking everything into place. I could probably do this without listening. Definitely a little artifact-y, but I think that's okay for this application. Let's get rid of these crashes. I've been trying to muster up the energy to produce a 12-song album that I recorded last summer. To produce it, low-key learning how to edit drums, even though I don't play any instruments. Nice. This is a really rough how to edit drums. I've been trying to muster up the energy to produce... What do you mean by produce a song that you recorded? Or, sorry, produce an album that you recorded. Do you mean mix? Do you mean edit? Here's so many artifacts. Get this guy a little closed up. Nice. What kind of music is it? Mixing is the funnest part. Editing is the least fun part. When everything's edited, fully ready to go, oof. Oof. That's where you want to be. Please no artifacts. Please no artifacts. Hey, thanks for doing this. I'm a little late, but why do you prefer to edit manually instead of Beat Detective or something? I will use Beat Detective. Usually when I'm editing a track, it's really dependent on the section. So I think Beat Detective works great. In a part like this, we have kick drums that I want to edit to, we have snare drums that I want to edit to, we have ghost notes on the snare drums, and we have hi-hats, and it's a really fast technical part, so some of them might be hit gently. So instead of using Beat Detective to separate it, I'd rather take a little bit more time up front going through and cutting everything to make sure I know that it's done right the first time. And then it also helps me kind of like make sure I'm working on the beat correctly, going through and manually moving it. And then I'll use Beat Detective to put the fades on it. If it was a simple like 4 on the floor drum beat and it was performed really well, I would use Beat Detective every time. So yeah, hopefully that kind of somewhat answers it. I find I will manually edit more than use Beat Detective. And then sometimes I will use Beat Detective even if it's just the separation or just the conform or just the fade, but I will also usually use Elastic Audio because I think that makes it sound more natural than having tons of fades everywhere. But that's my answer. Got a little PT question. Use Beat Detective for drum editing, but never seen this way of doing it. What would you say is the difference? Is one way or the other better? I kind of answered some of that. I really like. I think when it comes to drum editing, I've edited like so many drum tracks. I don't know how many, hundreds, if not thousands. And I think what's really important is understanding the tool. So I think there's like, I think you should know how to do it manually. just like cutting at the transients, keeping your drums grouped, cutting at the transients, moving them into place. And then I like to use elastic audio, which is where you come over here. You set this to, right now it's polyphonic. It should be on rhythmic because it's a drum kit, but oh well. And then you set this to ticks. And then what that allows you to do is you can use your TCE tool. You can cut and you can like stretch stuff. I find stretching it, as long as the performance is good and everything's within reason, sounds a little bit more natural than having like fades. And I hate getting those like double transient or double attacks sometimes that you get when you're like apply a crossfade across everything. And like, yeah, I find also if I do use Beat Detective and I apply, what's it called? If I'm on the smoothing, fill, and crossfade, and I don't use elastic audio to like pull things or whatnot, I'll get a lot of those double transient kind of things that happen where like right before the snare drum you have like a little snare drum transient, which is really annoying, and then I have to go through and I have to listen for everything. I got to listen through every single fade to make sure that it's in the right spot. So doing it manually takes a little bit more time, but you can assure that when you're done, that it's completely done right. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is understand all the tools, understand how they all work, and then after you've edited a bunch of drums, you will be able to kind of figure out what will work best for the part. Again, this is the rhythm isn't complicated. I think it's just like straight 16th notes, but it's fast. There's different, you have kick drum, snare drums, ghost notes on the snare drum, and hi-hats. So manual was the way to go for me. Also, this is not the cleanest editing. This is for my own song and production, and I'm going to be layering the kick and snare with like larger than life samples. This is, yeah, it's going to be very heavy on the like computer sonically. So yeah, so I don't really care if it's a little rough around the edges. If this was someone else's track, I would have a little bit more care with it. Rock. Define the difference between mixing and editing real quick. Mixing is moving these faders around and creating a stereo mix. Editing is doing what I'm doing right now, where I'm like cutting into things and putting them in time. They are not the same task. Usually it goes engineering, you're recording it, then you edit it, then you mix it, then the mastering stage is next. Mixing does not take a ton of time. If everything's like set up properly, you can mix a song in no time at all. Chorus 2 has this fill in it. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. I'm glad you like the answer. I have a tendency to like talk in circles, so hopefully I ended up answering it at some point. Production kind of covers everything. That covers everything from recording to creating the final master. At least that's how I define it. So if I'm like, oh, in this production, I'm talking about the entire thing. Everything. If I'm talking about in this mix, I'm talking about, you know, EQing, compressing, moving faders, all that jazz. Changing this to a triplet grid. So in this case here, there's a little section. I am just going to manually edit this real quick. I am set to elastic audio for anybody that's watching that's asked questions. I'm turning this to the TCE tool, which stands for time compression expansion. So what that allows me to do is I can, boom, move it to the grid. My goal is gridlocking this. That is what I'm doing right now. And I can stretch the audio. Oops, what did I do there? I can stretch the audio, and then I can stretch this audio. And you see what I'm doing here. Boom. My computer's kind of struggling. Get this flam feeling good. I'm not too concerned about this. This will just let it. Actually, this should be right here. And okay, so now we have this. So it feels great. Let's just use Beat Detective to throw some fades on it. Okay. I'm going to delete this guy for now. And let's just listen to this. I got no issues. I'm going to throw a little fade here. And I'm just going to listen before. Love it. Love it. And then a little fade right before this transient. Actually, I'll put it right up against it. And... oh yeah, you bet this is Chris Steve on the drums. Cool. That is good for me. I got to do this second verse part here. God, that is the best. I love flams on the snare drum. There's nothing I enjoy more. You love it. There's no EQ, or I guess there is a bit of EQ and stuff. But this was recorded in a basement with a Focusrite. 8 channels, 8 mics. You can tell I didn't even record a snare bottom because I know that I'm going to be sampling it, as well as I wanted to use that extra. I wanted to use that channel to put a hi-hat microphone because for me that's more important in this production because there's so much hi-hat work to have a tight hi-hat microphone than it is to have a snare bottom microphone. Ooh, would you look at that? Let's get this all pushed back. Okay. Chris Steve on drums. Yes, yes, yes. I was going to show a video of Chris playing, but I didn't take a video. So, oops. Sorry, I did. I took an 8-second video. This is recording this. I recorded this earlier today. This is real terrible. Let me see if I can put this up. For anyone that cares, this is going to be terrible. Can you see it? I have no idea if you could see that, and you definitely couldn't hear it, so that didn't work. Oh well. Okay, so again, manually editing, because look at all this detail here. We have kick, we have snare, we have ghost note on the snare, we have hi-hat, then we have ghost note on the snare. My goal is to get this completely locked in, because it is going to be... I want it to be like robotically tight. It suits the style of music. That's what I'm going for. So that's what I'm going to do. And that should sound like music. Nice. We've got some pops and clicks, which we will add a fade to after, but I'm just going to manually go through it. I'm going to get it done right. I'm not going to worry too much about it, and we're going to keep going. Sorry, just getting my phone set up. That is partly where I'm seeing the chat. If anybody has any questions about anything, or wants to talk about anything, or is working on anything, feel free to bring it up. Robbie, if you're still in here, did you finish the MIA program, correct? Last year? Year before? It's all a blur. Okay, D-bar, just make sure that... Fantastic. Fantastic. Did the stream go down? No. No, the stream did not go down. Okay, sorry. Finished last year. How did that, how's it been after the program? Oh shit, there's Miguel. Look at this, a Focus reunion. Let's play some of those tracks. Do it in the mix on those. I think it's a good idea. How am I feeling on the Chelsea Mix contest? How am I feeling about my chance of winning? Or what specifically? Oh, Chris, how could you? Okay, we're gonna just let that natural. That's gonna be natural. We're just gonna let that be 1, 2 beats. I do not use an Apollo Twin. I used to have one. I think it's great. I would love to use any Apollo product, but I'm currently working off a Hackintosh that I've had since the summer of 2018, and when I had it built, I was told that I didn't build it, I had someone else build it, and I was told that the computer would be Thunderbolt compatible, and at the time, or it wasn't. It just straight up wasn't. So I do not have the ability to use Thunderbolt, and the thing is I'm running Mac, right? And most of the quality, like higher quality USB interfaces are only work with Windows, and then they have a Thunderbolt counterpart that works with Mac. So I am not. Basically, I can't use it as long as I use this computer, unless I get my computer, get a different motherboard, and my computer works, so I don't want to change it. But in the future, when I eventually replace this thing, which I don't really have any plans to do, I will definitely go back to the Apollo. I think it's... Yeah, I love it. I think it works. And I like the plugins. Yeah, I like it. Right now I'm using a Scarlett 2i2, and that's what I've been using for a long time. And I know that a lot of people don't think that's very cool, but let me tell you, I've recorded songs that have gotten over 250,000 plays on Spotify with this 2-channel interface and a Shure SM57. So it ain't the end of the world. I am actually using a USB microphone. I'm not using my Focusrite isn't doing anything with this, my OBS stream. I am using OBS to broadcast this. I'm using a blue microphone that I was gifted by my father. Chance on winning. Chance on winning the contest. I mean, I haven't really listened to many other people's mixes. I think I got an email. Well, I know I got an email that said that there were roughly 6,000 entries. So I think my mix is competitive. I think it's up there in terms of, I think it probably is in the top 100, I would assume. I think it's competitive with the actual final product, like the track that is commercially released. If I came in the top 3, that'd be really cool. But it's a big contest, so if I place in the top 3, I would be very happy. But I'm not banking on it. Or yeah. Did you compete in it as well, Mr. John? And hello, Adam. How you doing? Welcome. Okay, that's all edited. Boom, 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 boom. How are your new speakers, Adam? How are those going? Getting good use with those? Oh, Chris! Ooh, that's some artifacts. Those are some artifacts. It's just a sketchy. You love it. You love it. Okay, let's see if I can commit this without my computer getting really upset about it. Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. What did you buy? Did you buy KRKs? And did you buy sub? I felt like you bought two things. Very nice. Well, best of luck in the competition. Hopefully, yeah, whoever wins deserves it. And yeah. Editing drums. If I'm working with a band and like let's say I'm recording a record with a band, usually after we track drums, it takes a day or two of me like sitting in front of a computer editing drums. I know some people love to hire other people or like to hire other people to edit their drums for them, which I think is a very, very effective use of time. But usually the budgets just like don't allow for to hire someone else to do that. So usually I take time editing drums, but it's also really nice to know that they're getting done right, because I've had other people edit drums for me, and sometimes, or more often than not, it's caused more work than it's been a help. So yeah. Are you still Miguel, are you using Oh Miguel. Oh Miguel. Oh, you will not believe what I found the other day. Also, yes, I'm wearing shorts to anybody that saw that. This could be so funny. I found this. This is, I believe this is yours. I still got it. So, I want you to know that. If you ever go looking for it. Yeah. Thank you for stopping by. Best of luck. Yeah. It's 4:30. Get some sleep. Get some rest. Yeah, isn't that insane? Okay, oh, that is not in time at all. Okay, let's get that fill working for us. We're coming to the end of this drum part. Kind of. Triple it, triple it, triple it, triple it. Simple dance music. My streaming setup is super simple. It is, I'm just using OBS. It looks like this. This you're seeing behind the curtain. I've made some real rough, unorganized sources where I just made this graphic. I made this little transparent video. I have it so I'm using Soundflower to like route my audio, so I can route it from Pro Tools out 3.4, which goes to Soundflower, and then in OBS, Soundflower receives that, which is why you're able to hear Pro Tools. I have this microphone here that's right beside me that is picking up my voice. Within OBS, I'm using compression on it, so hopefully it is at at a reasonable level in relation to the track. And yeah, that's it. Everything I've learned is from like real quick YouTube tutorials. I think anyone that has any sort of like understanding of their tools can get it going. And even if you don't have like a USB microphone like I have, you can put a track in your DAW and Pro Tools and just have it input monitoring so it's constantly live, and that'll also work as long as you can get Pro Tools audio sending to the internet. If you don't know what OBS is, oh wait, you said you do have OBS. Yeah, OBS is great. It's free. It works. And because of that, there are a bazillion tutorials on the internet on how to use it. So I would just say that if you are trying to like stream, to do some test streams to avoid any issues before going live. Or you can do what I do, where I just wing it. At the start of this, I don't know how many people are still sticking around, but I did a full 20-minute stream right before I started this stream with an unlisted video because I didn't know what I was doing. But we're learning, and that's what's important. Oh, that's such a good payoff. Just like straight drum beat. Okay, so now that we're here and we're doing a straight drum beat, if anybody's sticking around that was asking about why I do manual editing instead of any other way, this is when I would use something like Beat Detective because it's a super simple pattern. So let's get this dragged out just some reasonable amount. And okay, drums. Oh, let's not do that. Let's highlight this kick. Analyze. Let's try and get this. No, it's feeling good. Doesn't have that extra. Let's bring this up a little bit. Okay, come back to our group. Cut. Fantastic. Let's go to our snare drum here. Snare drum. Analyze. How we doing? Okay, we got that. It's clean. We have great performance, so this should work accurately. Chop it, and I think that's all we need. Clip conform. What are we rocking? 16th notes? We're rocking 16th notes. See that it's a little messed up over here. That's because this is a triplet fill. So just like that, the drums are in time. So that's fantastic. But now we have to go through and we have to edit the fade. So hopefully this doesn't lead to any sort of double transients and nonsense. So we're going to just kind of solo these drums. We're going to listen to them. That's another triplet fill. Just call this trip. I'm gonna come back to that. I would say before you buy the Unison MIDI chord pack to wait like a couple weeks because the company might be coming out with something different that I'm not allowed to talk about, but it might be more worth your while. So that's my insider 2 cents. Yeah. Stream looks great. I'm glad it does because my internet usually disconnects like every 20 minutes. So I'm glad it's been stable. Quick question. What mouse do you use? I've gone through like 3 different ones since switching to Mac, and the scroll wheels always feel so janky and DAWs. Yet to find one I like. I am using some piece of crap Acer mouse. I have... because I spend so much time in front of my computer working on stuff, I have I've broken 2 mouses from use, just like clicking. I've never had an issue with the scroll wheel. I recommend if you are like looking at, you know, balling out and getting a quality mouse, to probably do some research on what like top level gamers use, because that, I mean, that's what that market is looking for. And yeah, so look into companies like Razer and whatnot, but maybe look at some rig rundowns of top streamers, because they probably have better input. I used to have like a gaming keyboard that I got off an old friend that didn't need it anymore, and that was cool because it like lit up and everything. But it had mechanical keys, which were super clicky, which is not great for recording. So I switched to a Mac keyboard, like just a normal Mac keyboard, and the other week I was cleaning it with alcohol, because there was just like a bunch of finger grime on it, and I freaking knocked the bottle of alcohol over, like rubbing alcohol, and I poured it all over my keyboard, and it no longer works. So I just bought like some knockoff Mac keyboard off the internet. Not fun, but that's life. Things happen. I have also tried to purchase like those mice that don't have a scrolling wheel, like you use your thumb. And I recommend, if you do go down that route, which is supposed to be good for your wrist because you're not moving your arm around, it avoids, you know, repetitive stress injuries and whatnot, to make sure you don't cheap out and to buy one of quality, because I bought like the cheapest one on Amazon. It was like $40, and it's just not responsive enough. Like if you're trying to do micro movements, like move up a fader a little bit, it's gonna make your job harder. So if you do buy something, make sure that you're buying quality, because you want it to last, you want it to be good. Yeah, that's my 2 cents. No problem, Mr. the Buckeye Boss. Believe it or not, this actual song was made out of the thing that I'm not allowed to talk about. The chord progression. The melody. Believe it or not, the melody. This part here. Was made out of it. So it is it's definitely a cool tool. And yeah, if you stay subscribed to this channel, you'll see it when it drops, because I'll be posting a video for it when it comes out. But as far as I know, there isn't a release date at this moment. Okay, one more listen through of this. Lovely. So that's what happens when Beat Detective works. Life is good. I'm using a Razer one right now, and used to have, a Steel Series. But the thing about gaming mice is that they're never Mac drivers. And if they are, they're super. Yeah, that's true. Actually, when I had the Razer keyboard, I had to use like some workaround software to be able to access all the like the parameters and whatnot. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you go to like the Staples website and like look up trackball mice, you'll find something. This project here is just like something I'm working on. I started making this song like 2 days ago. I did a live stream 2 days ago where I like structured this out. I kind of had like a one part before it. So I just like made a couple chord progressions, loosely structured it out, and that's what you're hearing. Then today I was tracking drums with my friend Chris Stevenson for a project that he was working on. And since everything was set up, I was like, yo, do you want to just play drums on this? So we recorded these drums in like no more than 25 minutes. Like it was just like, yo, Chris, play something like this. And then I would loop record the part. So if I look at the playlist, you can see that there's just like a bunch of looped parts. So I would just hit record and give him a section, and he would just jam through it. And I was giving him the opportunity to kind of feel out like what he can do, because he can play drums better than I can tell him how to play, a part. So I'd give him a loose idea, like keep it on the hats, keep it tight. And then he like ended up adding his flavor to it. And it's awesome. It's awesome. I've sent this track to my friend that plays in another band that is a great band that I won't say just yet, but he's writing lyrics and whatnot, and I'd love to have him sing on it. And yeah, it's just for fun. I don't really have any goal other than just like making something. I'm using this as an excuse to kind of just like create music outside of my comfort zone. Yeah. Okay. Just double checking there's no wacky artifacts. Okay, that's great. Okay, now we have here, let's get this going. There's auxiliary parts, and I don't know if I'm going to use all of them, but we just like added some random stuff that I can destroy if I want to. So let's separate, and let's get this all just in time. Lovely. Don't think twice. Let's duplicate this. Just throw this down here. Call this open hat. This is just going to be some totally wacky, distorted, disgusting track. Let's get all that nonsense out of there. And let's throw the... Where's my friend over here? This stock Pro Tools plugin. My favorite. Cool. I'm glad you liked it. Or I'm glad you like it. And yeah, when I'm done with this track, whenever that is, I imagine it'll be in a week or so. I'm sure I will give a rundown of how I created everything, how I mixed it, and I'm sure I'll give all the files away. So if you stay subscribed, you can download the whole thing and mix it and do whatever you want with it. Take all the sounds and make a new song out of it. I do not care. That is going to be something. I don't know if I have the... I want to edit that right away. Let's get these crash cymbals. We recorded auxiliary crashes. I just like duplicated the overhead microphones just to get them to do double crash. I have an insane compressor on it right now. This is just for playback. Just so we can focus on playing the part on the hi-hat, and then I can kind of put the crashes where I want without having to worry about bleed and everything that might make editing the hi-hat part challenging. So it's good. gonna head out. Gotta go finish the mixes on time for once. Nice. That's classic. And congrats on 1 million with Locket. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, that it's crazy. It's crazy to think that, thinking back on when Locket and myself started making that record, it's crazy to think that it not even 6 months or so after the album's been out, that it's already hit 1 million streams on Spotify. That is awesome. So thank you to anybody that has taken the time to stream it. It means a lot. Alright, let's actually get these drums kind of blended in better. Let's see if I can get these hi-hats in time, and then I'll probably head off or hop off in 10 minutes or so. So if anybody has any questions about anything at all, now's the time. I'm going to edit some hi-hats. Hopefully they don't give me too much of a hard time, because this is going to be really intricate. And then I'm going to hop off. I've been meaning to get around and listen to Locket. What do you guys think is a good start for listening to you guys? Well, right now we only have an album out. So I would say if you listen to the first song, it's called Out of Sight. I think you'll get like a good idea of what the band's about. But I would also say that the album kind of goes in a couple different directions. It's not fully locked down to one sound. I believe you were talking earlier about, having an emo-ish type of project. If that is, if that's your thing, I feel like you will probably enjoy it. This is a record for you. There's some softer stuff. There's some heavier stuff. And if for whatever reason, if you're into production and after you listen to it and you want to know how some of the stuff is made, I have made videos, I believe, on 3 different Locket songs on how we made them. So yeah, I would say start with Out of Sight. If you like it, keep going. If you don't like it, get out while you still can. You know what? I could probably beat detective this. I think this is actually a lot more straightforward than I thought it would be. Let's do it. Come on. Well, to start, didn't get everything. Let me go through and I'm gonna edit at the transient, then use Beat Detective to get everything else in line. What do you guys think is a good start for this? If I remember correctly, you had a video discussing Locket, and it mentioned how you guys were previously known as something else. Can't remember the old name though. What caused you guys to do the swap? Yeah, so everyone that has played in Locket also played in Safe to Say, which Yeah, if you listen to Safe to Say it's still on the internet, you can hear that it's, the same thing. It's matured a little bit, but you can see that it's the same band, or the same essence of the band. We took a year and a half, 2 year break. Like, we basically stopped posting on the internet. We played a show at the end of June 10th of 2017. That was the last show we played. It was in the city I live in Ottawa. It was part of a 2-day thing. We played a sold-out show in Toronto, and then we played a show in Ottawa. And we didn't really have... I don't know. It was a lot of stuff, but we kind of stopped being... yeah, we weren't... We had done some cool stuff. Like, we'd been signed to a different label. We had a different booking agent. We had a different manager. And it just seemed like things weren't really moving. Like... And... our singer was going through a bit of a mental health thing, and I don't know, our motivation just kind of like, we kind of had to take a step back and be like, figure our own lives out a little bit. So we took about a 2-year break. Within that break, we started working on the album All Out. And we didn't really tell anyone that that's what we were doing. So we ended up creating that $0 budget. We just made it. And just make sure I'm not messing this up. Yeah, so we just made it, and from there we slowly started getting the pieces of the puzzle back together. So we reached out to a manager that we've had a long relationship with, that had never managed us before, but he's been doing like good work, and we felt like he was the right fit. So we reached out to him. We said, hey, we made this album. It would be really cool if you listen to it. If you vibe with it, if you like it, if this is something you believe in, we would love for you to manage us. And he's a little hesitant at first, and totally understandable. Picture it, abandoned our position, like dead in the water, haven't done anything for years. We had all the opportunities before and never really broke or made anything of it. So from an industry perspective, it didn't look too promising, but he listened to the album, and it meant something to him, so he said okay. And then from there, it started this almost year-long journey of trying to find the most appropriate way of releasing the album, and we were in contact with Fearless Records, which is the label that ended up putting the album out, and lots of back and forth on that end, and eventually we got the green light. Everything was good to go, and yeah, one of the last things was like, oh, they brought it up to us, like, hey, have you thought about maybe changing the name? And at first we were obviously offended, because it's something that means something to us, and it means something to a group of people as well. Like, Safe to Say was not a big band, but we definitely had a fan base, and it meant something to people. So we obviously at first felt a little offended, because they're asking you to change your identity, and it's like, what? Should we be embarrassed or ashamed of it? But then they laid out some good points, and then we kind of understood it, and honestly, it was totally the right call. So it's kind of just like a new chapter in the band. It is a different thing. We have a different perspective. We have, it's just like a new chapter in the band, new team, new outlook, new motivation. And I really like Locket because it's like the band works for the band members. We work hard and we enjoy what we do, and we have complete control of what we do. Like, straight up, we make everything that we do. So the band is something we want to be doing, and we're very proactive with it. We don't sit around and wait to be told what to do. Yeah, so it's like it's the same people, but we're more mature, and we have a different focus, and it just felt right to do that. And yeah, so that's the reason with the name change. We're not trying to hide anything. Like, there's no shame of the past at all. It's just kind of like, it's a new chapter. So that is a very long answer that kind of briefly goes over everything. And quite honestly, if you listen to the album, and you kind of follow along with the lyrics and whatnot, you can kind of understand the growth that happened throughout everything I just talked about. Cool. Thank you, Lucas. I appreciate that. That is actually my dad's 4-track, and yeah, it's amazing that he's kept it in such good shape. You know, since he bought it in what, like 1985 or something. He bought it to record his bands, to record demos and whatnot. Obviously, it's a completely different time. You know, trying to get studio time back in 1985, I imagine, was not cheap. I think he spent over $1,000 back then, which is like an insane amount of money, you know, given inflation and what a dollar's worth now. So it's amazing that he kept it in working shape, and it is still functional to this day. And yeah, I've been begging him for years to use it. He plays guitar here and there, but my dad actually has a YouTube channel, and he's all into drones now. So if you look up Captain Drone on YouTube, my dad is a YouTuber that has 100,000 plus subscribers. So he doesn't do very much with music anymore. So he has a bunch of, you know, toys he's collected over the years that I've acquired, which is awesome. So that was one of them, and yeah, it's really interesting recording to the cassette. When I was in school, I had the luxury of recording to 2-inch tape, so I understand the, you know, everything there is when it comes to recording to tape. Yeah, I want to find more creative ways of using it. I would love to make a video of like trying to record a modern metal production on a 4-track, and the only requirement would be that all things that get recorded throughout this process have to be recorded to the 4-track. So I would be able to use, like, at the studio I work at, there's an SSL console. Like, I'd be able to use all the, I'd be able to run, you know, 10 mics into that, mix it, and then send the output of that console to the 4-track. Boom. There's 2 tracks. Then we record the bass, and then we have to bounce that down, you know, to 1 track, and then, you know, add the guitar and whatnot. So I would love to find more creative ways of using it. I've been looking on YouTube, and there aren't very many videos on that specific thing. Actually, I don't think there are any videos on that specific Tascam. So yeah, like, it's something I'd love to use more. Just curious, how does Lockett write? Do y'all have one main writer who puts everything together and then everyone puts their spin on it, or do y'all tend to jam in person? Brad is definitely the songwriter. I guess historically, the way we've done it is, it's really interesting. We've really, like, developed our way of working together. So, yeah, I will demo throughout the year, like, all the time. I'll always constantly be demoing, and there'll be either full songs or riffs or whatever, and I will just keep uploading to a shared Dropbox folder. And if there's anything from there, we'll bring it in, we'll start working on it. Brad will usually come to the table with songs, and he usually has melodies and lyrics and just, like, themes, bigger picture stuff. And then we just kind of, like, throw a bunch of ideas together. And the rest of the band obviously helps out as well. My role when it comes to, like, working on a record is, like, I play the computer. My job is to, like, okay, this is your idea. Okay, how do we make that interesting? How do we arrange it? You know, it can be as simple as, like, just arranging guitars like you would in a normal rock song, or it can be like, oh, how do we make this sound unique? How do we make this sound like something interesting? And I think that is, like, part of the charm of Lockett. Is you can obviously be like, okay, they sound like these guys, they sound like those guys, you know, there's influences from it. But I think what we do is, because we do the production, we're able to choose what everything, like, what everything sounds like. So we have more control over, like, the overall aesthetic. And so, yeah, like, main songwriter's Brad. And then I will come to the table with ideas. What example could I pull out? I don't know how familiar you are with the record, so I don't know how much of this will make sense. But for example, on the song All Out, okay, it's a song, it's the 9th track, it starts with a piano. Like, that piano part was something I had in a different demo. A couple of the guitar parts in the song were stuff I had in a completely different demo. And then the distortion drums at the end are, you know, something that I created. But Brad wrote the lyrics. He kind of took my ideas, and then, you know, he built his own chord progression, everything like that. So it is a collective thing, but Brad is definitely the main songwriter, like, absolutely. And depending on the songs, you know, it could be more of just him and me focusing on the production, or it can be more of, interconnected kind of thing. Hopefully that made some sense. If you have any specific questions, if you know the record, I can answer anything. One thing I think is interesting that I don't know if we've ever said it, but the song "Honey," which is like, obviously a pretty special song, but that was tracked completely. That was tracked right here in my basement, like in this basement with a Focusrite Scarlett. So it's, yeah, it's pretty interesting. We're about to put out something else that I probably shouldn't talk about. It's a cover. It'll come out probably in June. You didn't hear that from me. But yeah, that was something that Brad and I worked on. And we tracked it here in my basement. Yeah, it's fun. All right, I gotta listen to these hi-hats. Definitely easier with an SSL console. Nice. Yeah, my dad manages to maintain a YouTube channel where he posts, like, he's gone on sprees of posting every single day. And then, sometimes he's around 3 posts, like 3 videos a week. But the guy still has a full-time job. He's an absolute maniac. I have no idea how he does it. Like, it's insane. It's literally insane. Cool. I can't say what song it is because I would like give it away. It is nice when it's like a surprise and everyone finds out together. But I will say it's a Fleetwood Mac song. There we go. Okay, that's it. That's all you get. The intro for All Out reminds me of the Killer song. All the things I've done. That's a compliment because that's a great song. All right, I'm gonna give this a listen. Yeah, I'll probably come back to this at some point tomorrow, maybe the next day. I don't know. I want to get into the routine of doing these live streams because they're just like fun, and doing mindless work like this becomes a lot more entertaining and like less efficient because I'm like chatting most of the time. But I enjoy doing this. So, yeah, thank you to anybody that stopped by and chatted. I like doing this. I like talking about audio. I like talking about Locket. I like the things that I do, and I appreciate that people take the time, and hopefully whatever your motivation is for being here, hopefully you learned something or you had fun or whatever. That's cool. I'm going to play the song top to bottom. I'm going to come back to this maybe tomorrow or the next day on another live stream, and I'll start adding samples and actually mixing it and whatnot. Yeah, good stuff. I'm going to play the song, and then I will sign off. So what do we got? These drums are going to be like lo-fi at the start. still have to color this part in. There's no real plans of what this is gonna be. How's that for a manual fade out? Okay, cool. Thank you very much for watching. I still got to figure out a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to make those drums sound larger than life in another stream. So make sure if you see a notification for me going live that you come and hang out. It's been cool. It's been great. As I mentioned, I like chatting with all you guys. Jason, thanks for checking out the album, or thanks for maybe potentially in the future checking out the album. And Lucas, yeah, stay safe as well. Thank you guys very much for being here. My name is Cory Bergeron. I'm getting off the internet. Stay safe. Have a great night, everyone.